So this video is gonna contain opening the caliper, because as you can see, you know, it's a two-piece device. So we'll take the pads off and we'll take the pistons out, we'll take the seals out, we'll replace the seals, and we'll just basically clean it, and it's gonna be pretty much full rebuild apart from the bleeding nipple, because that, quite frankly, does not require any attention. It's quite alright. So anyway, let's just start from taking this little element off. Now, here's a little tip. I strongly suggest that those 4 pinch bolts are removed when caliper is still on the motorcycle, held by those 2 mounting points, because if you take it off and those are not pre-loosened, I guarantee you will not be able to crack it open with just Allen key, holding it in your hand, unless you're a superhuman. So the caliper is still on the motorcycle, held by those 2 bolts. Then you stick your breaker bar in, crack all of them open, boom, and then you can go ahead and start the rebuild process. So that's just a little tip. I've already pre-loosened all those 4 bolts, so now they'll just come off nice and easily. What I like to do at the beginning is basically I want to use some hot water with soap and a sponge to get rid of sediments, the biggest particles from the caliper. Another good idea is to use the toothbrush. As you can see, those look slightly better than before. Obviously they're not as perfect as that one here, but I'll spend some time on them and I'll get them up to par. But the reason why I want to show you something now is this is probably the most difficult part of the job, and basically the job is getting the pistons out of the calipers. So in my opinion, the best way to approach it is when your calipers are on the motorcycle, just take them off the brake disc, and when your system is still tight, just pump on the brake lever a few times to see them coming out, just like that. And all you need is about 1 centimeter of height. If they come out for 1 centimeter, that's enough, you're good. So let's see how it goes. So that goes in, then the pliers, right? Boom! Came out nice and easily, as you can tell. Brilliant. Okay, so piston on the side. Time for another one. Stick it all in. Boom! Second one came out nice and easy. Now, time for the smallest one. Okay, I'll leave that one for a moment because I can tell already this is going to be one son of a bitch. Okay, time for that one here. Boom! Taken out. Okay, time for that one here. Boom! Taken out. Excellent. And time for that one here. There we go. Came out nice and easily. So, as you can see, all 3 came out. and those are your seals inside. The one at the top is your dust seal, and the one at the bottom, the thicker one, the one over there, is your actual pressure seal that keeps the brake fluid inside. So just have a look what it looks like inside. And so basically those holes there, right here and here, are basically the channels that push the brake fluid onto the pistons, and here's how you get the movement of pistons in your caliper. Okay, so as you can tell, these now look slightly better, in fact a lot better, but the next step of the job will be getting the seals out. And so you just grab the little pick. I think this is the best way of approaching the seals, just grabbing a little pick, and you just grab a seal and take it out, like that. See all that crap on it? Okay, so that's the dust seals going out first. That's our second one. That's the third one. Okay, now as you can see, we've got the dust seals taken out. Now it's time to take the thicker ones out, which are the pressure seals. Now a lot of times those seals can be reused actually, but I prefer to use new ones anyway. They're not that expensive, so let's use the new ones. Okay, so all seals taken out. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but you see those channels here? This is the top channels I'm talking about. Those are the channels where the dust seals sit, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's tons of sediments and residues and tons of crap and dirt over there. So all that has to be cleaned. In fact, any dirt, any foreign objects from those three holes have to be removed. So just have a look what it looks like inside. So I'm going to try to clean that now. Okay, so it's been some time that I spent for polishing and cleaning those calipers. As you can see, they look 10 times better than the caliper that I showed you at the beginning. So here we've got another pair of those, so they're all pretty clean now. So if you have a look inside of those channels now, I don't know if you can see it or not. They're not perfectly clean, but they are like 95%. So now I consider calipers somewhat done. Now let's take a look at the pistons. So those are still pretty dirty, as you can see. The next job will be to remove all the crap out of the pistons and polish them nicely. So let's get into it. The way I do it is I just get a rag, some brake fluid on it, and just clean it like that. Okay, that one's done. And the next one. Right, so here we've got a piston which has been cleaned, but in some areas, like here, you've got those little imperfections. What I do for that is I basically use a Dremel tool with this very soft buffing bit, and I just basically buff it off. And here is the result. So let's have a look at the pistons. So you can see some slight discoloration, but that is it. They're actually not damaged. They look pretty nice, pretty clean. They're not scarred or cracked or anything. So this is what we want. You see this here? That's not dirt. That's not damaged. It's just discoloration. That's all it is. we can now start to fit our new seals into the calipers. So obviously we've got different sizes of pistons. We've got different sizes of those holes here, right? And hence why we've got different sizes of seals. Can you see the size of seals? So anyway, but in general you've got two kinds of seals. One of them, the one here, is thicker. This one here is thinner. So the thinner ones are those that go at the top. Those are dust seals. And the thicker ones go at the bottom. Okay, so what I suggest doing is basically pouring some tiny little amount of brake fluid into the cap. Just moist that seal in the brake fluid, and obviously I've taken the biggest one, so that goes in the middle hole. Pop just right in. Now here's the deal. People say that those seals have to go into those grooves in a particular way. So supposedly there is a way of putting them upside down. I don't really know if that's the case, but what I do, and that's what I was told by a friend who is a mechanic, is to put your finger inside this little hole where the piston goes and touch on the seal. And if you can feel a little groove over there, that it sticks out, and the thin ones go at the top. So we take the thin one, we put it in, and it falls in nicely. See this? They're both in. Okay, once again, next seal, little bath in brake fluid. That's the biggest one, so it's going to go in that port here. Okay, nicely goes in. Same check as before. Put the finger in. You can feel a little protrusion, which is what you want. Now, dust seal. Nice. Yeah. Okay, that one's in too. And the smallest one with the little groove, which is our dust seal, and that goes at the top. So for that part of the caliper, as you can see, all of them are in. And now it's pretty much the easiest and the nicest part of the job, which is putting the pistons back in. So what you've got to do is just gently put some tiny little amount of brake fluid on the pistons so they slide in nicely. So let's start with the biggest one. Okay. Goes in beautifully nicely. Next one. That went in pretty nicely too. Okay. You just repeat the process for all of them. Okay, that went in too. Getting closer to the end of this journey, let's just not forget you need those two seals in because you're now joining the caliper together. Okay, so this is how it all goes in. Now here are the bolts, which we removed at the beginning of the video. Let's just use a tiny little amount of anti-seize. Okay. Okay, so how tight do you get all that? So at this stage, obviously you get it as tight as you can just using your hand, and then you've got to torque it down once the caliper is on your motorcycle, and the torque values will be shown just here at the bottom. Okay, we are almost there. Now it's time to put the pads in. I think it's a good idea to clean them as well because they were very dirty before. Pads in, so obviously this is the way you put them in. If this is the top of your caliper, they go in like that too. So the first pad this way. Okay, it's all in there. Second pad that way. Put them in. Now we need the securing pin. Pin goes through here, and obviously you've got to go through those two holes at the top of the pad, which we did. Excellent. And now you've got to secure it all with that little pin, just a piece of wire. So that goes in that little hole here, which is going to secure it. There we go, let's just have a look. That's what we want. So now the pin and pads won't come out. It's all secure. That's what it looks like. As you can see, the pads still have some life in them. And the last job is basically putting the cover on. Another thing is, your banjo bolt will need not one, but two washers. One of the washers stays at the top, near to the head of the banjo bolt, and the other one stays at the bottom here. And right in between those two, this is obviously where your brake hose will be connected. Then you screw it all down, bolt your caliper to the mounting point, and obviously torque those down, and then you can start bleeding your system, and that's the whole job done. Full rebuild of Tokico caliper. Thanks for watching, till next time.